Bonjour, my name is Lydia Carradine and I am back. This is Melanated Hyphenated Convalescent, and on this channel I talk about being a Black woman in the film industry with 3 disabilities. And I know I'm still in the same place. The lighting is bad and I'm holding my phone. I don't know where my tripod is. I don't know where my ring light is, and I had to leave the good ones in LA because I packed very light. But here we are. So, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Today, I'm going to be talking about mental health in the Black community, therapy, my mental health struggles, and how I'm coping in Paris. Because there was some concern about how I sort of casually mentioned that I tried to unalive myself a few months ago. But that was just a part of the story of what led up to me coming to Paris. I didn't plan to talk about that then, but it is a thing that happened and it was a piece of my journey. But I think we need to talk about it. Oh, again, I am going to look at my notes a lot because I do have a lot of brain fog and I forget things because of said disabilities. So, yeah, I have been dealing with very serious depression, suicidal ideation most of my life. I remember as early as 2 being really sad, really grim. I was a brooding child. I should have been in a gothic novel because if anyone was gonna brood, it was me. So that's been a constant. When I was 8, I told my mom, I said, I think I'm depressed. I'm depressed because I'm always sad. I think things like, and I think I gave her some examples, that's not normal. I'm depressed. Maybe I could do some therapy perhaps? And she said, no, you're not depressed. Pray it out. That's not, nope. Because Black parents of a certain age and generation. Now, I don't blame her generation for the stigmas they were raised with, and access to mental health, who mental health services were marketed to, and the whole notion that Black people, Black women just have to tough it out. We have to be strong. We have to take care of everybody else, and our mental health doesn't matter. So I understand, but I was like, I'm not okay. Cut to, I'm 11 years old. Now by this time we have moved probably 7 times. My family moves a lot. It's just a thing that happens. It's very destabilizing. That's a whole other video. Or maybe not. But by the time I was 11, still really sad about things. A few years ago as an adult, found my journals from when I was 11, and I was reading them and I was like, this is very upsetting. Because I don't remember what I said, but I was sad. It was sad. It was just about, I remember like just reading something to the effect of like, I don't know if I said things are not going to get better, or like, it was just like pages and pages of like really depressing stuff coming from a child. And when I was 11 was the first time I planned and almost did take my life. I had planned to do it for a while because I knew at a certain time my mom was going to leave the house. And I waited for her to be gone. I waited extra time to make sure she didn't forget anything and come back. I went to go do it. And the only reason I didn't was because I was like in the zone. My little brother was in the house and he made a noise, and I kind of like, it shook me out of what I was doing. And I thought to myself, I said, he's too young to find me like this. I can't do this. I can't do it with him in the house. And then I don't know if I didn't have another chance or if I just sort of was like, I don't know why I didn't try again then. But that didn't really leave me. The next time I got really, really close, when I was 18, that was a very traumatic year for me. I don't know how I made it through that year. I don't know how I made it through that year. Who knows? So one of the things that I've noticed personally is that a lot of people think you're choosing to be sad. They think you're being negative for funsies to upset other people. I wish I could just be happy. I wish I could just be like, oh my gosh, it's fine. It's gonna work out. And like actually believe that it's gonna work out when I say it. Because there was a time when I wasn't like always thinking that things the worst, but things kept happening. And I was like, I can't lie to myself. And even like beyond circumstances, just like I wake up and most of the time there's just, my mind is not always a fun place. So, and I think what's important for people to understand is it's not just sadness the way it is in like these commercials where you have like the face and you go like, depression hurts everybody. It's an overwhelming, all-encompassing feeling of hopelessness. And that is what in all of my attempts has been like, why keep this up? So I think it's kind of like, I don't think it goes away. I imagine it to be similar to addiction, where it's a thing you have to choose every day. So I have to choose in my worst times, because I'm not always suicidal, but I have to choose life. I have to choose to get up. So it's something that it's like I'm dealing with a lot. So the recent attempt that I mentioned in my previous video, that came after being sick for a very long time. I'm going on 2.5 years now, dealing with a lot of that on my own, feeling abandoned by people in my life, not knowing where my career would go because the 2 writing jobs that I had last year took a lot out of me. Even mental exertion like wears me down physically, because I am now a person who takes a shower and then has to lean against the wall because I'm so weak. I cannot express to you how physically weak I am right now. So to that end, it's like, well, I can't be on set in front of the camera for 12 to 16 hours a day. I can't, like, that's not happening. And my whole life, as Genuine would say, my whole life has changed, but not in a fun way. Not with a dance break in the middle. And like, I don't think people understand my whole life is kind of just whoop. And it's because of invisible disabilities, which most people, including doctors, think you're making up, despite all the research and the evidence. But whatever, that's fine. So one day, a lot had been going on, and I was just tired. I was just really tired, and I'd been feeling that way for months, honestly. In, I don't know, May or June, one of my really close friends said, like, oh, I know what I'm gonna get you for your birthday. And my birthday was couple months after that. And I almost said to her out loud, I was like, I'm not gonna be here on my birthday. because I was like, I can't, for what? So this time I was not 11. I don't do anything halfway. I planned, I scheduled emails and other things. I left information and instructions for people who would need it. Everything was in order. I was ready to go. I was like, it's like when you clean your house before a vacation. I was like doing that, but not coming back. I was ready, but I am not going to go into details, but I had to do two things to be successful. And after the first thing, I got scared, and it still might have worked, but I called. I have a family member who's a doctor, and they made sure that I was not successful. So I called, and they came and took care of me. And why is this something I wanted to share? Well, I was gonna save it for my memoir, but I'm not ashamed anymore of unhandled or overwhelming mental health issues and the illnesses that led me to that. And if you feel like this, please talk to someone. We can't destigmatize this if we keep it to ourselves. We have to talk about it, especially in our communities. Like, we need to talk about it, acknowledge it, and help each other. When my friends, because I told a couple people out of necessity, and then they sort of were contacting each other to make sure I was okay. And they all were really horrified, and they were like, we would be so devastated if you were gone. And I, at the time, had a really hard time believing that there were people who cared that much if I wasn't there. And I'm saying this because I think that if anybody else feels that, there are definitely people in your life who will be devastated if you're not there. So please stay. Please stay. And I'm not saying that it's easy, and I'm not saying you should do it for other people, but your life has an impact and value. You on your own are valuable, and you deserve to see what can happen if you stick around. So there are resources available. BetterHelp always has free trials. There's therapy for Black girls. Most insurance companies do have therapy available. They're not going to tell you about it, but you should see if that's available. A lot of employers, well, that might change, but a lot of employers do offer mental health services, which again, you have to like go down the HR rabbit hole, but they're there. And if none of that is accessible to you, like, find like one non-judgmental person in your life and say like, hey, do you have the bandwidth to listen? Can you be here for me? And I am pretty sure a person who loves and cares about you will listen and try to get you the help that you need, or at least just be more supportive and be available if you need to talk or whatever you need. So, and if you want to talk to me in the comments, I'm here. I get it. So you might be wondering how I'm doing now that I'm in France, and how am I coping since I've uprooted my life to follow my lifelong dream of living here. not Cobain. As the Mad Hatter says, we're all mad here. Or did the Cheshire Cat say that? Either way, we're we are having some issues. So I am by myself. I still don't know where I'm gonna settle. I don't have really real community here, and a lot of people in my life think this is a very bad idea and say so. And everything just affects me differently because I am sicker. So I used to be able to compartmentalize a lot. I wasn't kidding when I said my nervous system actually doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. So like physical things, external like sensory stimulation, things people say, like it just really affects me so deeply. And so I can't just kind of like ignore it the way that I used to. But the people who have these negative feelings don't understand that I really had to do this to save my life. LA had become suffocating, and it was crushing me mentally and physically. It just came to a point where it's like it was untenable for so many reasons, and I couldn't ignore that anymore. And going home and staying at home with my family is also really not the healthiest option for me. And LA was bad before the fires, so I left 4 or 5 days into the wildfires, and the air was already so bad that it was exacerbating a lot of my symptoms. And I was like, I can't breathe this because I already have problems breathing. It's like the devil I knew was no longer acceptable. Like I just couldn't be like, oh, nope. I had to go. I had to go. So now I'm here with uncertainty. I am sicker than I've been in a long time. I'm weaker than I've been in a long time with very little support. And I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I would like to be okay, and I'm not. Expatriating, difficult. Expatriating to France, good luck, bon chance. Doing that, well, you have 3 very real chronic illnesses / disabilities. Girl, what you doing? Why? It's not ideal. So, every day I am holding on to my mental health. It's harder because my therapist before I left LA told me that she can't see me anymore because of license laws and things like that. So I'm out here flying solo. And I've been filling up another sad journal to keep from talking to myself out loud. I think most of the time when I do speak out loud, it's to the Duolingo owl or someone worried in my life, or I'm telling someone like, désolé, je suis américaine, parlez-vous anglais? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, that was a productive conversation. Now I'm just gonna go like try to Google Translate the things I remember and see if I can. Anyways, so I am here. I'm holding on, and I'm always going to advocate for Black women to acknowledge and manage and talk about their mental health. even if that makes other people uncomfortable or annoyed, that they have to acknowledge your feelings and therefore that you are a human person. You have to be your own best advocate, and other people's opinions about that are not important. And don't let misogynoir have you believing that you're not worthy of having care for your heart and your mind and your soul, because you are worth that. And so yes, Black women, everyone, if you have felt like I have, or you know someone who has, like, please talk to someone. Be there for the person if it's not you. And it's not like, it doesn't need to be in the dark. It's not something shameful. It's a thing that people deal with. And the only way to get through that is to acknowledge it. So, yes, that is what I wanted to say about that. And I'm gonna keep speaking my bad French out here until it gets a little better. Hopefully I'll find a place to live. We'll see. If you have a French uncle who like wants a kept woman, I'll put on my hard wig and play ball. I'm kidding. I kid. Am I? No. That's it for today. Please like and subscribe. There will be links for merch and other things. I will put links for those resources that I mentioned. And I will see you next time. À bientôt. Au revoir. À demain. Bonne nuit, mes amis.